in an unusual trajectory for a long-running and ongoing procedural, especially in the current era. The Rookie has seen its popularity increase in recent years. The recent premiere of The Rookie Season 8 was the show's biggest streaming debut and ranks in the top 5 among ABC's streaming premieres overall. But even in success, the lighthearted action drama is facing the prospect of budget cuts. As part of the Matt's Inside Line newsletter, reporter Matt Webb-Mitovich responded to a question about whether Jenna Dewan is still a series regular on The Rookie. Dewan's character, Bailey Noon, recently moved to DC, but despite this, there is no change to Dewan's status in the cast, and Bailey will continue to be involved in storylines moving forward. Mitovich's full response is included below. The characters in The Rookie go through a significant change in the show's recent Valentine's Day installment, Season 8, Episode 6, Burn for Love, in which Nolan Nathan Fillion agrees that Bailey should take the job offer in DC. It's a turn that doesn't come easily, with the fan-favorite couple married facing some difficulties on the way to making the decision. But they seem to agree, at least for the moment, that Bailey going to DC is the best outcome for all involved. In any case, the reason that Bailey's location change raised a few eyebrows is that The Rookie has a relatively large main cast. Other than Fillion and Dewan, the procedural also stars Eric Winter, Melissa O'Neill, Mikia Cox, Alyssa Diaz, Richard T. Jones, Shawn Ashmore, Lisseth Chavez, and the recent addition of Derek Augustine as Miles Penn. There are several ways that budget tightening can impact a network show. One of the ways is to make the main cast smaller, thus reducing costs. But there are also less extreme ways, such as rotating and downsizing the number of series regulars per episode. There is also the possibility that ABC will opt to go for fewer episodes of The Rookie per season and, overall, favor episodes that are less reliant on costly action scenes and locations. The Rookie could favor a mix of all these approaches or just a few. Viewers are likely to know more when and if the procedural is renewed for Season 9. They're not alone either. On ABC, Grey's Anatomy is facing a tightening budget along with 9-1-1. That is the current reality of network television, with declining ad revenue and the overall shifting economic realities of Hollywood. At the very least, though, Bailey's new job doesn't signal a farewell to Dewan. If you watched the recent Valentine's Day episode of The Rookie, you probably felt your heart drop. John Nolan and Bailey Noon, one of the most beloved couples on television, just made a massive, life-altering decision. Bailey accepted a job offer in Washington, D.C., completely across the country from Los Angeles. Immediately, the internet exploded. Fans were panicking, wondering if this was the writer's way of quietly writing Jenna Dewan off the show. Add in the dark cloud of massive network budget cuts hitting Hollywood right now, and the fear was completely justified. But hold on to your hats, Rookie fans, because a brand new, exclusive report has just surfaced clarifying exactly what is going on behind the scenes. Today, we are taking a massive deep dive into the truth behind these casting rumors, the real financial hurdles happening at the network, and what this all means for John and Bailey's marriage moving forward. Grab a snack and settle in, because we have a lot to talk about. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you've been following The Rookie's incredible journey, you know that this current season has been an absolute roller coaster. We started off with that massive, explosive premiere in Prague, which felt like something straight out of a James Bond movie, and the momentum hasn't slowed down since. But while the action has been top tier, it's the personal drama that really caught us all off guard recently. Let's set the stage and talk about Season 8. Episode 6, titled Burn for Love. It was the Valentine's Day episode. And usually, in the world of television, Valentine's Day means romance, sweet moments, and maybe a minor, easily solvable misunderstanding. But not for John Nolan and Bailey Noon. The writers decided to throw a massive wrench into their relationship. Throughout the episode, we saw the couple struggling with a major crossroads. Bailey receives an incredible job opportunity, but it requires her to relocate to Washington, D.C. Now, anyone who has watched this show knows how hard Nolan and Bailey fought to get to where they are. They have survived serial killers, crazy EXCs, terrifying traps, and the general chaos that comes with working as first responders in Los Angeles. They finally tied the knot, and fans thought they were safe. But reality hits hard, and a cross-country move is a completely different kind of challenge. What made this storyline so emotionally heavy was the maturity with which it was handled. There was no screaming match. There was no toxic behavior. It was just two adults deeply in love, realizing that this DC job was an opportunity Bailey simply could not pass up. Nolan, being the incredibly supportive partner he is, agreed that she should take it. It was a beautiful, heartbreaking moment that felt very real. But while it was great character development, it set off major alarm bells for the audience. Why? Because in the world of television, when a character takes a job in another state, it usually means the actor is leaving the show. We've seen it 100 times across a dozen different medical and police dramas. A sudden out-of-state job offer is the classic Hollywood exit strategy. And given the current state of the entertainment industry, fans had every right to be terrified. To fully understand why Bailey's move to DC caused such a massive panic within the fandom, we need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture of what is happening in network television right now. You might be thinking, wait, The Rookie is insanely popular. Why would they ever let go of a main cast member? And you are right about the popularity. The premiere of this current season was the show's biggest streaming debut ever. It currently ranks in the top 5 among ABC's streaming premieres overall. The fan base is stronger than ever, and the show is pulling in incredible numbers. But here is the harsh reality of network television in 2026. Success does not make a show immune to the shifting economics of Hollywood. Declining traditional ad revenue and the high costs of producing action-packed procedural dramas have forced networks to tighten their belts across the board. This brings us to a major talking point: The Rookie Season 8 budget. Even with record-breaking streaming numbers, the show is facing the very real prospect of financial setbacks. And they are not alone. Other massive flagship shows, like Grey's Anatomy and 9-1-1, are dealing with the exact same tightening budgets. When a network tells a showrunner that they need to cut costs, the creative team has to make incredibly difficult decisions. They can't just stop blowing up cars or staging massive shootouts, because that action is a core part of what makes the show fun. Instead, they often have to look at the cast. The Rookie has a remarkably large ensemble cast. We aren't just following John Nolan anymore. We have Eric Winter as Tim Bradford, Melissa O'Neill as Lucy Chen, Mikia Cox as Nyla Harper, Alyssa Diaz as Angela Lopez, Richard T. Jones as Wade Gray, Shawn Ashmore as Wesley Evers, Lizeth Chavez as Selena Juarez, and the newly promoted Derek Augustine as Miles Penn. That is a massive payroll when you have an ensemble that large. And you are facing a budget crunch. The easiest way to save money is to reduce the screen time of certain series regulars, or unfortunately, write them out entirely. This is exactly why the DC storyline for Bailey felt so deeply concerning. It fit perfectly into the narrative of a show trying to trim its budget. Fans connected the dots. Budget cuts plus a cross-country move equals a quiet exit for a beloved character. For a few days after Burn for Love aired, the fandom was in a state of mourning. People were writing long essays online about how unfair it was to build up this amazing marriage only to separate them geographically. But then, the clouds parted, and we finally got some concrete answers. Respected television reporter Matt Webmitovich, through his popular Matt's Inside Line newsletter, decided to tackle this exact issue. A fan wrote in, asking the question that was on everyone's mind: is Jenna Dewan still a series regular on the show, or is Bailey gone for good? Mitovich reached out to his sources, and the response he got completely changes the game. Are you ready for this? According to the new report, there is absolutely no change to Jenna Dewan, The Rookie Season 8 status. She remains a full-fledged series regular. The network and the showrunners have not downgraded her contract, and she has not been written off the show. Mitovich explicitly stated, "That's a logical question, and one I asked myself, but I am hearing there in fact is no change in Dewan's status with the ABC procedural. This is massive news." It completely debunks the theory that the DC job was an excuse to write her off due to budget issues. Bailey Noon is still a core part of the Rookie universe, and Jenna Dewan isn't going anywhere. But this amazing news immediately brings up a logistical nightmare. How do you keep a character deeply involved in a show that takes place in Los Angeles when she is supposedly living and working in Washington, D.C.? If you are wondering how the writers plan to pull this off, you aren't alone. Having a series regular stationed thousands of miles away from the main action of the show requires some very clever writing. Fortunately, The Rookie has a history of handling character logistics beautifully.